Welcome to yet another edition of the Phil Taylor Jones Show. Today we're going to be talking about this total mess that is this refugee crisis that's totally destroying Europe. Hi, I'm Phil Taylor Jones. I'm your host. And we're going to be really looking at this thing for all it's worth because it's crazy. The more I look at this thing on telly, it just infuriates me on so many levels. First, when you think of the sheer numbers that are coming into Europe, either by sea or by land, it just makes you wonder why this is happening and why people like Angela Merkel and Frank Holland and the guy who's over in Great Britain as Prime Minister, his name escapes me, and the other connecting countries like Turkey and Croatia and these other places. First of all, let's just look at how they come in by sea or by water. They're coming in these very nice inflatables, I might add, pretty spiffy to be, down on your luck, have nothing, supposed refugees. These inflatables are very nice, and they even have the life vests, the life belts, That sends up red flags because if these people are so poor, number one, how in the heck are they getting these very expensive inflatables to float over to Europe in, complete with life belts? They're coming in there, then they encamp right there on Lesbos, the island in Greece, and they totally, wherever they land at, they totally mess it up with human waste and whatever they're eating or drinking from, they just leave it there, leaving mounds of garbage that reportedly has to take millions of dollars to clean up the beautiful countrysides. As you see them marching, through, they just drop baby diapers and whatever it is they have in garbage, just throw it down there. So it's going to cost millions, if not billions of dollars to clean up all of that crapola. And it's just a mess. I was looking the other day, and this guy was on there with his baby. They show all of these heart-wrenching scenes. Oh, please, if you have a heart, you would let us in. Just open the door, open the gate, and let us in. Open the door, let us in. You have to have a heart. Okay, let's just look at that. Suppose the people do have a heart, which they've had, and they let these people in, not knowing who they are, what they represent, whether or not they're terrorists or whatever. They let them in. What have they done? Systematically, repeatedly, just torn up their country. Angela Merkel now is scratching her head and her butt and everything else, trying to figure out what the hell to do. They're holding summit meetings, trying to figure out what the hell to do. The answer is simple: turn them away. Did you cause their problem? No. Do you know who they are? No. Do you know what they totally represent? No. Could there be ISIS or Al-Qaeda's or Boko Harams or Taliban's or Taliban's or whatever within that group? You don't know. Yes, there could be, because it's shown that there has been. So what do? You turn them away. If they don't want to leave peacefully, you crank up your jets and you shoot missiles down in front of them to let them know we don't want you here. And you might say, well, Phil, you're kind of hard-hearted on this. Yeah, I'm very hard-hearted because here's why. As I mentioned before, they're coming over in these very nice inflatables. They're marching through in multitudes. Not just 500 or 600 of them. We're talking thousands. They're entering into some of these countries or to some of these borders by the thousands. Big thousands. 5,000 or more a day. That's an army of people. And you look at them. You look at the little bites and clips that you see. They're multitudes. A line of them that goes almost into infinity. So here's my question. Before I ask my question. When they get to the borders where the people now have kind of blockaded them, they're being blockaded by armed police officers. with your permission, I'll say that again. Armed police officers, and they're running over them like a runaway freight train. Now there are armed military personnel at these borders, and they're pushing their way through past them. And as I said before, they're coming in multitudes. Here's my question. If you've got an army of people that have well thought out, well planned this trip to this place where they're seeking supposed refugee status, then why can't those same people plan and gather and fight the people that are trying to tear up their country? Now, I know that ISIS is big, but I don't know that it's that big in any one given place. Now, if you've got 1 million plus people marching all over Europe trying to get into Germany and Europe and Germany and different spots in Europe, as they're saying, then why can't that same 1 million people stand up against ISIS and beat the hell out of them? Yeah, maybe they don't have high-powered guns and things like that, but everybody's place of origin has bricks, stones, baseball bats, fists, feet, kitchen sinks, pipes, whatever, cars. Run their butts over, beat them with stones. You've got the numbers. And if you can march your behinds all over Europe trying to get in certain spots, because it's beautiful there. Not because I'm trying to save my life or because I'm worried for my family. I'm trying to save my kids. Oh no, I want to get to Germany. It's beautiful there. They're not seeking refuge. They're looking for vacation spots. If I'm having to leave my home because they're bombing or they're shooting or they're launching rockets or what have you, the last thing I'm going to be thinking about is how beautiful a place is. The beauty will lie therein in my safety. Whether or not I got to look around for bombs flying and get my butt shot off. I'm not going to be worried about how beautiful it is. Maybe in a few months' time, after I get over the shock of being shot at and having bombs dropped on me and half my house, is ending up in rubble, then I'll say, oh yeah, this is a beautiful place we came to. But no, I want to go to Germany. I want to go to Sweden because it's beautiful there. Well, then you need to go to talk to your travel agent. You don't need to, throw up your hands and say, I want to be a refugee. So, all of this makes me wonder how much weirdness is here. And there's a lot of it. You got to even think about after they even come into the host country. Not only do they mess it up with their debris and garbage and all that kind of stuff, but being most of them of the Islamic or Muslim faith, and this is the real kicker, they come into a person's country, and instead of trying to assimilate and pick up the ways of the host country, they come in and they want to turn it around and make the host country bow to their will, which to me is ludicrous. And not only do they just want you to believe, but they will persecute you if you don't. The other day I witnessed a video where this girl was just walking down the street. I believe it was in Great Britain. She was just walking down the street minding her own business. She wasn't, revealing in her dress. She had on a short sleeve t-shirt and some jeans. And some Muslim young punk called her a slut, a whore. Well, naturally it didn't sit well with the girl, so she retaliated, because he lunged at her and she swung her purse and tried to hit him. Obviously she missed. He then slapped that girl so hard that she fell, I guess, and hit her head up against a brick wall, or at least a structure, because she was in front of a store or something. And she was out cold. He went over and then said something else to her and kicked her. And then some of his buddies went over and called her a whore, and they stomped her repeatedly. And then they ran off. Or no, excuse me. They didn't run off. They boldly just walked off. Even it infuriates me, folks. It really does. This Islam thing, this Muslim thing has tentacles longer than a giant octopus, because not only does it reach out from where it originates over there in the Middle East, but now it's over in Canada. You know, even the election that they just had yesterday, and I think that's going to be a mess. This Trudeau fella, I'm looking at him, and Canadians, our neighbors to the north, I'm sorry, but I'm looking at this Trudeau guy the same way I look at our commander-in-chief, oh bastard. I think he's going to turn out like him, because, you look at Mr. What was that other president's name, the one that lost? What's his name, Walker?
David Cameron, Prime Minister of Great Britain?
No. The former Prime Minister of Canada. I think his name is Walker. I believe his name is Walker or Weaver. Check that out for me, and then we'll get it straight. But anyway, the former Prime Minister was very conservative, and everything was going fine until he kind of turned the tides and not, wanted to be so accepting of these foreigners coming in, especially Muslims, because they want to wear this facial stuff, the women, hijab or hijab or whatever the hell they call that thing. But they wanted to wear it during their citizenship ceremony, where they've done their coursework and methodology to become Canadian citizens. They wanted to wear this business to the ceremony, and he said no, that was not necessary, and I stand behind him. If you're going to become a citizen of Canada, then what do you need to wear all this business for, covering up your face, looking like some kind of weirdo and freak?
Stephen Harper?
Harper, not Walker. Yeah, Stephen Harper, former Prime Minister of Canada. Thanks, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Why should you want to wear that stuff and you're embracing the Canadian way of life? If you wanted to wear your whatever the hell that thing is, hijab or whatever, then stay over there where the people wear that crap. So that's what I'm saying. They want to come into your country and then make you change to fit their needs. It ain't happening. Not in this part of America where I am, because there's one place that you don't break and run from anybody, and that's your home. You do what you want to do in your home. Well, America is my home. And if they come over here with that mess and try to infringe upon me, it ain't going to go down so well. If I see one of those little bastards coming over here messing with our women, talking about their whores, and then trying to beat them and kick, that ain't going down so well. See, that's why, in my best estimation, we don't need them here. It's too much of a problem. I don't care about the humanitarian part of it. If you're too stupid to stay and fight for your own land, but you can develop balls of steel when you go to somebody else's land and bristle up against their police officers with arms and bristle up against their military forces with arms, then why in the hell didn't you stay over in your own land and bristle up against ISIS or Al-Qaeda and fight for your own land? Yeah, you're going to lose a few people. This is true. But aren't you going to lose a few people anyway? Because obviously they didn't plan their trip very well. They left in, I think it was maybe March or May or June. Well, it gets cold over there in Germany, in those European nations. It gets real cold and frosty. So you didn't plan your trip well, refugees, because now it's cold over there, raining, and they're up to their knee bones in mud. And it's going to start snowing pretty soon. Well, you didn't plan your trip right. You could have been over there in your own homeland, maybe put down a few ISIS cells by now, and maybe start rebuilding. But oh no, you had to run. Well, this is not fair. We're dying out here. We're cold. Well, death ain't but death. You could have stayed in your own land where it's warm and, fought. They're not giving us food. They're not giving us water. Well, how do you expect for someone to prepare for the numbers that you're bringing? How can you prepare for that? That would take months of planning. You just dropped in on those people unexpectedly, and you expect them to roll out the red carpet for you? Please. And to you news whores, why don't you put as much of the real stuff that they're doing, the bad stuff that they're doing on telly, as you do we're so in dire need. We want someone to help us. Please open your hearts. You guys are just as one-sided as you want to be. You're trying to pump this thing up so that everybody feels sorry for them. But the true numbers dictate that the people that are over there in Great Britain and in Germany, are having these big rallies saying, no, we want them out of here, and we want them out of here 5 weeks ago. They're tearing up our city. They're tearing up our way of life. They're destroying our culture. And they're downright dangerous because they're killing us over here. And Americans, you think about what O'Bastard and John Scary are up to, wanting 100,000 or more of them over here, so that we've got to put up with this garbage too. It's a powder keg, and we're sitting on top of it. I haven't heard anything about South America and how many they're going to take. I haven't heard anything about that. They're infiltrating Canada to the north. But I don't hear anything about South America. Maybe there has been, but it certainly hasn't been on telly. It hasn't been on the internet. People with common sense are saying, no, stay away. We don't want you. We don't need you. I don't know why these idiots here in America can't get their minds wrapped around the fact that foreigners are not a good thing. I don't care how many times they want to, beat on the tom-toms and say that they are. They're not. Unless these are foreigners, excuse me, I have a little burp there coming. Unless they're foreigners that come over with means, and sometimes they're not good. This crap started way back in '47, where Herbert Hoover, I believe it was, wanted the foreigners to come up from Mexico on work furloughs and work here. Stupid. Are you trying to tell me in a nation this big that we don't have enough workers to take care of the needs of the work that has to be done here? That's balderdash. We've got billions of people here. And most of the ones I've seen have 2 hands, 2 arms, healthy, strong. We can do any job that anybody would come up with because we are Americans. We don't need foreigners to come in and show us anything or to help us with anything. Where'd you come up with that garbage? And now it's just perpetuated. Till now, we've got almost 20 million people out on the streets, American citizens, a lot of which are our heroes that went and fought for our country. Came back with half a body. They didn't come back with the whole body that they took over with. And they're out there on the streets. But what does the American government do? They go and look for more foreigners for us to take care of. I find it very strange, President O'Bastard and Congress and all the rest of you political muckety-mucks over there, that you can prepare for all this deluge of refugees. But you can't raise the Social Security for the people that need it. And that's another thing. Let me just touch on that before we close this show out. Social Security. The next president that gets in there, whoever that may be, and I sincerely hope it's not Slithery Clinton or Jeb Tush, but for the rest of those souls out there that are trying to be president, here's something for you to think about. Our Social Security system is a system where American workers pay into it for years. How dare some slimy foreigner, fresh off the boat, or the plane, go to the Social Security Administration and then receive benefits as though they had worked and pulled their weight in this country. That needs to be stopped. Say, no, that doesn't work like that. How dare you try to deplete our system that our workers have paid in over the years? Now, if you want to go and get on the welfare, public assistance, and if the state or city that you're in wants to do that, and they want to toe the line financially, then so be it. But you will not come to America fresh off the boat and sit on your butt and collect the Social Security check. That stops. But that's what's going on. They're preparing for this multitude of Muslims who want to come over and change the traditions of the host country that could be hiding terrorists within their midst to come over and blow our butts to the kingdom come. But they can't give Social Security recipients a little raise. And the raise they give is nothing but a pittance. They bark and scream about the $15 raise. Well, if you look at what a Social Security recipient gets, that's not even minimum wage. Sometimes it works out to maybe about $4 or $5 if you were to put it on a secular type scale and measure it by the hour. What they need to actually do is do that and base the Social Security payment on a 140 to 160 hour work week. Then maybe the Social Security recipients could survive without having to eat dog food and all that kind of thing. So think about what you're doing, you stupid politicians, you stupid president, making the way for foreigners that don't belong here and not taking care of your own. I sincerely hope that we could one day get a president that would do that. But like I said, I don't see that happening, but I remain forever the optimist. But this refugee crap is nothing but a big load of crap, a steaming pile of horse turds. Well, in this case, a steaming pile of people turds, because they're going around defecating and urinating on people's property and throwing all kinds of garbage. Do we really want that here? And I mean, that's just at the very lowest level. Then we're talking about these young punks going around beating the women, raping the women of the host countries. Hell, they're even raping and beating the women in their little camps where they are. They can't get along with anybody. Look at the Israelis and the Palestinians. They've been fighting over there as long as, Hector was a pup, and the dog has since died of old age. I say this, let them beat each other's brains out over there. Don't send in missiles and armament and money over there for something that they've been doing since biblical times. Let them beat each other to death. They like it. Because if they didn't like it, they would stop. America needs to wake up to what's going on. But I think America is awake. It's just those political muckety-mucks over there that are playing footsie under the table with our money, with our birthright, with our country, and we're losing out. Do you realize that we're protecting these foreign countries like Germany, Japan, and then this other place over there that I don't want to even mention? Why are we doing that? They're paying us just a little pittance to protect them. We need to pull our people out of there and let them protect themselves. They're cheating us on every score you can think of, and they're still doing it. You politicians are idiots, plain and simple. You have been idiots for longer than I've been alive. And if anybody thinks that any one guy can get in there and make a significant change, I feel kind of sorry. Just suppose, for the sake of supposing, we do get a president that, would really want to do the right thing. The poor guy's got it stacked against him before he even takes the oath. Why? Because we don't clean the house, ever. You get a brand new president, cabinet, and a new VP. But you got the same old Congress, the same old Senate, the same old the Supreme Court that's belching out these archaic ideas and coming up with these archaic and really ridiculous laws and things, and bucking the president if he comes up with something sensible that might help the people on every turn. So how much really can get done? As I've said so many times, they need to clean the house. You get a new president, you get a new everything. New Senate, new Congress, new Supreme Court, just wipe them out. A lot of them old farts have been up there from 5, 6 presidents back. They're so old that their whiskers have whiskers. But yet, you know, they sit up there and they stonewall every good idea that may help the people. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be revamped in this country. Before closing, I just want to throw a little soccer stuff in there. FIFA, the organization that, polices that whole thing, been crooked for years. This Seth Blatter guy has been on the president of it for like 40 years. You know, that's just too long for one old fart to be sitting up in one position. So now they've come up with this whole reforming of it, and they can only stay in for 12 years. To me, that's too long too. And there's going to be a little ad hoc committee to see what money goes in, what money comes out, all that, notwithstanding. This was the thing that caught my ear. There's another guy, I forgot what his name is, and it's not really important, but anyway, the guy was suspended for whatever reason, some kind of scandal, and they're still investigating it. He wants to be the new president of FIFA. But here's what they told him. As long as you are under investigation and on probation, don't even think about being the FIFA president. Once you're cleared, we'll consider you. Now, something as, well, I don't want to impugn the soccer thing, but to me, soccer isn't important as running a country. But to say, if FIFA can do this with a person that's under scrutiny, then why in the world is the United States still considering Hillary Clinton for president? That woman is under scandal. She's under scandal. Oh, good Lord, I don't want to even list that because we could be here for another 5 or 6 hours. She's just the two biggies that are on the table right now. She's under scrutiny and up before congressional panels and FBI panels and what have you for the Benghazi thing and for this email and secretive information thing. I can't even speak when I talk about slithery Clinton. Anyway, why is this woman being considered or even in the race? That just shows the corruption of American politics. Shouldn't even be in there. So maybe if you're cleared, maybe we'll consider you, but definitely not while you're still under scrutiny. Just for the sake of supposing. What if she's guilty as hell? And we know she is. But what if she's found actually guilty? Are they still going to let her run for president? She got 3 people killed in Benghazi. She's leaked, I don't know how much sensitive information through her emails and her negligence. And you still want somebody like that to be president because she talks a good game and because she can get up there and smirk and you talk about the faces Donald Trump made. Did you get a load of those faces she was making in the debates? And you want somebody like that as president? I'm telling you, folks. And I got a sneaking suspicion, unless something really drastic happens, that's going to be your next president. And if that happens, you can kiss what's left of this country goodbye. It's gone, killer. If she gets her butt in the White House, forget it. Anyway, thank you for spending time with us on the Phil Taylor Jones Show. We do appreciate your company. We're glad to have you with us on this crazy adventure that we're on, known as life in the USA. we thank you for your comments and your well wishes on Google Plus, and we invite you to come along with us again on another adventure. So, in this crazy, mixed up, nutty world, try to remain happy and retain a little bit of your joy. Take care and stay safe. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.